So, you think you want to learn how to do arm balances. Okay, let's give it a try. Come with me to my mat. Actually, you stay on your mat because we can't fit here together unless we create a temporal anomaly. So the arm balance that we're going to work towards today is Ekapada Koundinyasana 1, and I guess we'll do 2. Why not? Why not just do it all? Alright, so these arm balances require, they require a high degree of flexibility, which is probably due to hypermobility, because these are pretty extreme ranges of motion. But I'll teach you ways to do it that don't require a ton. But either way, we're going to work our way up there. So I'm sitting in a hot room right now. It's like 85 degrees in here. You don't want to be too hot, because it's too hot. The heat kind of tricks your body into thinking it's more flexible than it is. But you do want to be slightly warm. So let's do this first. Arm balances are very much core strength. People think they're arm strength, a little bit, but very much core strength. So let's start by sitting like so, with our feet together, but out. So I'm going to bring them to the point where I feel like my feet are going to lift off the floor, but I'm just barely able to keep them down, okay? And then we want to use our breath to support ourselves when we do the arm balance, so let's start now, okay? So as you inhale, feel the whole body fill up in every direction. Let your belly get big, and then when you exhale, just feel how the muscles recede back towards the spine. Do that a few times because your body naturally does have a function that helps stabilize the spine. It's called your exhale. Funny how that works. But we can use the exhale with a little bit more intention to support our spine in things like arm balances, because those are pretty crazy hard. So let's start like this, shall we? Let your legs come out just enough. These are as low as mine go. You might go lower, okay? It's fine. Inhale, reach forward, and then exhale, come back, and just go to where you feel like your feet are going to come off the floor. Don't let them come off the floor. Inhale forward, exhale. You want to lift your belly up. Do not suck it in. Think about letting your belly lift up. Only feet almost came off the floor. Inhale forward. Exhale, try to keep those feet down. Inhale again, and then back. Okay, let's maybe change this up a little bit so you can keep doing that. Or you can come to a point where maybe your feet, maybe they hover, maybe your shins go parallel. Exhale up. Inhale. Exhale up. One more time, inhale. And then maybe now as you exhale, they come up, maybe they straighten. Take your hands in if you want. This is Koundinyasana. It's a shape that you'll kind of sort of be in when you're in your arm balances. Come up to regular Navasana. You can bend your legs if you like. And we'll take back this position and stretch forward and take a break. That was fun. Now you could just do that, for 10 minutes every day. You would build some fairly good core strength, but it's a little bit one-dimensional, right? Like what about core strength when our body is turned? Well, we can do that too. Come on up. It'll be fun. So first, let's take our hands back. Okay. And let's have the knees go out side to side. Sort of this way. You can have them go all the way out and have your chest turn in the opposite direction. You're getting a nice little spiral in your spine and your hips and all the way up to your earlobes if you want. Okay. That was good. Now, what if we do that with our feet lifted? So again, you want to feel that your posture starts from the lowest part of your belly. So you're going to lift up through the low belly. Let your knees fall to the left, and maybe you lift your legs. Inhale through center to the right, and then exhale. So every time I exhale, I'm thinking about making my spine longer from the low belly all the way up to, let's say, the heart. But I'm even extending through the crown of my head. It's just that when you start your posture getting straight and tall from the pelvic region, the rest of your spine tends to kind of fall into place, okay? But a lot of people, they do their posture from their upper body and their shoulder blades, and that just kind of just tires out your muscles and doesn't create a real natural lengthening. Are you sticking around with me here? Come on, let's keep doing this. You need a rest, that's fine. Okay, let's do one more time on each side. This time, how about no hands? Ha ha. And no hands. Okay, that was good. All right. Would you like to take a rest? Okay. So let's do Koundinyasana, and let's do it in a way that's going to actually like get more of our muscles involved. So instead of locking your knees and like dorsiflexing at the ankles, just let the legs do their thing. So you're going to stretch forward and diagonal. And you're going to let your knees pop up when they want to. Keep your feet nice and loose, or you can point your toes, and that'll give a little bit more forgiveness to the backs of the legs. And side-to-side movements, I encourage them when you're doing your stretches, because it does kind of get that nervous system to say, oh, okay, we can relax a little bit more. And all stretching is getting your muscles to relax. Your muscles are not like elastics. They don't actually like stretch out and come back into place. It's not quite as simple as that. Alrighty. So let's get our arms warmed up, but instead of warming them up in the way we're going to use them in our arm balance, so I'm just going to overload our shoulders. Let's take our hands back. Scoot your bum forward. Scoot, scoot, scoot. So again, you want to use the exhale to lift up and in, up and in. And I use the word up first because I don't want you to suck in your belly. You're sucking it up. That's it. Okay. Your legs are going to need to bend if you don't have like a super level of strength or if you have low back stuff. I'm going to bend my knees to start. Exhale, lean back, get tall through your belly, and lift your legs. You'll find that there's a place where your body starts to shake. It's going to be different for everyone. Inhale, exhale, set your belly up. So while you're lifting your legs, you're really lifting your belly up, like literally, because your legs are attached to your spine through a very strong hip flexor, which is also a core muscle. Now you could lift your legs just by using your hip flexor muscles, but they would get very tired very fast. You would cramp up. Do this one more time. And if you want, you can come into Navasana. Again, you want to be nice and strong and straight. You don't want to be dumping in your spine. Dumping. If you're flexible enough, you could come to this shape, but don't worry because that level of flexibility is a little abnormal. Abnormal. Drop your left leg, keep your right leg, bend it if you have to. It's totally fine. No matter what you're doing with it though, can you pull your chest in towards it so you're not slouching? Okay. Again, you want like your upper body to not look strained. You want to be like your shoulders up here. You want to have a sense of like, yeah, I'm pretty relaxed. And okay, we're going to bring the legs back up. Inhale, and when you exhale, lengthen through your low spine, lift up your other leg, and then take your other leg. So if all of this stuff is super challenging for you, I'm so glad that you came to this video because it's a good core workout. However, the arm balances that we're going to do may or may not work out. It's fine. You can just try them, see what they're like. You know, like nobody comes out playing guitar like Jimi Hendrix the first time they try. Not even Jimi Hendrix. All right, come on down. All right, let's come into a wide-legged forward bend. Okie dokie. So this is another one of those shapes where very often we're cued to keep the legs straight and all this dorsiflexion in the ankles or just pulls at the backs of our legs more. Let's change that, shall we? Let your legs go loosey-goosey. Lift through your belly and start to itsy-bitsy spider forward. Just let your knees pop up when they want to. I've got one knee that's going to pop up higher. So if you have one of those, then which one? All right. Let's go to the other side. Same idea. If that knee wants to pop up, let it happen. Let it happen. Yes, I could do the stretch with my leg totally locked out, but then it would kind of just concentrate in the back of my knee, and it would be a little wonky for the knee joint over time. When you let your knee bend, it starts to access other muscles, both of your hamstring muscles, and it doesn't concentrate itself so much in one spot. Also, your back appreciates it. How about the other side? It's important when you're doing flexibility work to have a semblance of control in what you're doing, and also not to compare your body to somebody else's, because I guarantee you your structure is way different than most everybody else. All right, so we did both sides. Now we're going to come into an asymmetrical shape. Okay. I recommend blocks for this endeavor, or you can also use like actual furniture, like a chair on either side, doesn't matter, or a wall. We're going to take the right leg forward, and we're just going to go through some of these little stretches here. Forward and back. If you want to coordinate your breathing, I would recommend inhaling on the way forward and then exhaling on the way back, and try to keep a nice stretch in your spine so you're not hunching over your front leg. Also notice that I don't lock out the front leg. I could totally lock it out. I could hyperextend it. It would look like a Barbie leg. But you know what? I like my ligaments. I'm going to keep them, hopefully, not overstretched. So as you come back, this is something you're going to need to do later, because you don't want to rely solely on your body to support your leg in this arm balance. You'll see what I mean if you're not familiar with these. So draw your belly in and up just a tad bit, and then lift your leg. When you lift your leg, the tendency is to round to compensate, because now you're lifting it from your hip flexors. But can you keep a stretch in your low spine and your posture? Use your exhale. Lift the leg. Fantastic. I'm going to shed a little bit of light on this. Not that that helps, because this leg kind of sucks. So left leg is next. Same idea, forward and backward. Also, make sure that you breathe while you're doing this. And you may have to accept the fact that one of your hamstrings, one of your calves, maybe it's even up all the way up in your SI joint area, the muscles in the back of the hip, it just might not feel great on one side compared to the other. And you can work on your imbalances for like years and years and years, like I have, and still have them. It's okay if your body's not perfectly symmetrical. I mean, are your organs symmetrical? No. Alright, so the next time you come back, remember you want to have, you don't want to tuck your tailbone, you want to have freedom in your hips and a lift in your spine. And see if you can lift that leg without hunching over or tucking your tailbone. It's okay if you can't, because just the act of it and trying to use your core to do it is going to make you so much stronger. So you'll be able to do it in the future. One more time. Okay. Now let's take the right leg forward again, and we're going to visit a pose called lizard. Lizard is pretty intense. Okay? So if you're super flexible, or in the parlance of my geographical area, wicked flexible, there's a few things you might want to, just kind of be aware of. I am very flexible. I am hypermobile. So I have to maintain integrity in my joints. So in order to do this, I require some support and strength. So you see I have a bolster on my back thigh. You're welcome to put a pillow, blanket, anything back there. In lizard, we're like in our splits, but our legs are bent. You can take any type of support you want. The lower you can go, the more it mimics the arm balance we're going to do. Okay? At some point, I will take the support out from my back leg, and I will use a scissoring motion in my legs to try to pull the inner thighs together. Why am I going to do that? Because I don't want to hang out in my joints. I want to have a little bit of support from the surrounding muscles. And I might get tired of that and relax for a moment or two, but then I'll kind of scissor again, inhale, and then pull the legs in, etc. You can stay here as long as you want. I don't love this shape. But taking support is really important. And this is where we're going to create strength in this pose. So you want to have good mobility. You have to have equal parts strength and flexibility. Okay? So let's do this. Let's take the back leg up. Okay? Now again, you can easily be supporting yourself on a piece of furniture. Like let's say you had something on your right side that you could lean on. Totally doable. Okay, so here I am. Go back and forth. And I'm going to let my leg turn out a little bit here. That's just to support the shape of the hip joint for most people. So I'm going to take the back knee down again and let the arms reach out like little wings. So I've got one arm underneath my leg. If you can't do that, no biggie. Take your arm in front of your leg. Okay? But underneath is what's going to get us into that arm balance. And you can keep your back knee down for the entirety of this pose. You can also play with lifting. So let's hug the legs in. So you've got an arm on your knee, inner knee. Hug the inner knee into your arm. So they're like kissing each other. You want to hug that leg in. I'm not kidding. You really want to do that. And then you want to lift up that arm first. Really hug in. Your core's got to work here. Maybe the other arm lifts too and your heart reaches forward. And I call this dragon. It's a dragon. Good. You can hold that for longer. We're going to take side two. Okay. So the more you're able to hold that position without either hand on the floor, guarantees that your arm balance can be more successful. I'm not saying it'll be perfect. Let's take support. Okay. And if your left side is like mine, it's never quite had the ability to open up like the right. Just work with it, and if it was the opposite way, try not to overdo the flexible side. The more you lean into that flexibility on the side that's more open, the less the other side gets a chance to like catch up, right? So try to sort of treat each side like they're the tighter side. So you can keep that support, or you can get that semblance of hugging your legs in, creating some muscular tension and effort, and then relax. Press that front foot into the ground. Don't just let your body hang out in your knee. Like really press your foot down. And then you're going to take that dragon shape. So again, that back leg can come up. You can just stay here with the support. Or you can take your arm over in front of your shin or underneath. Feel free to work both. Okay, so back leg up. Hug that left inner knee into that right shoulder. I cannot emphasize that enough. Hug it in, damn it. And then lift your left arm, lift the right arm, and draw the belly in and pull the heart forward. Okay, you can hold as long as you want. Come down. And then we'll chillax for a second. Because now's the time to get into the arm balance. Okay. So let's kind of get the front of the body to open up a wee bit here. So there's a couple different ways to do the arm balance. You have to have a really good flexion in your hips to do both versions, but you don't have to have super open hamstrings and the backs of your knees for both versions, which is yay. So even if you can do the straight leg version, I recommend changing things up. Okay? So we'll do the right leg first. So you're going to find that lizard shape. Okay. So, here we go. In order to do this pose, you can have your arm in front here. It just changes the quality of the shape. It's a different type of shape. But we will do that. But for right now, let's just take the arm underneath. Okay? And instead of the arms going out like wings, they're actually going to come forward. You want your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders, most of us. And then turn your hands out a little bit. Like you're not like way out to the side. Just a wee bit. Okay? Now if this really hurts, don't keep going. It is not going to get any better. Just work on this. See if this gets more comfortable for you. Okay? So when you go forward, this leg eventually starts to straighten. And then you find your arm balance through going way the heck forward. You have to lean forward. It's not even an option to do it any other way. Let's look at version 2. Let's take the knee up here. This is where you have to have deep hip flexion, which not everybody has. It's okay. But now you don't have to have those super ridiculous hamstrings, right? So you can go from here, your back leg up, and you can balance through that by keeping your thigh, somewhere in your inner thigh, on the shelf of your arm. Your arm becomes a shelf, essentially. Okay? So there's 2 versions of it. The other version is when you use your shelf of your arm with your shin because you can't get your arm under here, which is fine. None of these are diminished version of the pose. They're all just equally good options. Come from here. This one's a little harder for some people because the left side has to work harder. Okay? Alright. In any case, I could dissect the heck out of these poses for a whole 2 hours, but you're getting the quick version. Alright? Arm balances for dummies. Okay, left side. Left side. So for me, this is the side where I can risk injury to my hamstrings, the attachments. So let's see how I'm feeling today. So we're going to take the traditional, take the shoulder underneath, and then get a big old stretch in that leg. Come forward, and then back. Okay? That's the first one. Then we have the one where we keep the leg bent. Right? So I'm still using my arm as a shelf, and now it's my inner thigh. Okie dokie. Ready? You gotta draw your belly, gotta lift. Here. Okay? Then there's the version where you may not be as flexible, but you're strong as fuck. And you take this arm out, and now your shin is resting up on your arm, which hurts a little more. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, so back knee here. Your right arm is going to take a lot more weight. And there you go. 3 different ways to do that. And of course, because your shoulders had to do a lot of work, you might want to do some nice little motions here, and there, back and forth. Now there are ways to use props to build this pose into little baby steps, like what about Bob? Baby steps into the pose. Plenty of ways to use props, and I can go into those in other videos, but this is your Cliff Notes, Ekapada Koundinyasana 1 and 2, and A and B for different body types, right? So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I hope you like the video. If you like the video in here, like it with your clicking finger.